Hi, my name is Dr. Bagley. I'd like to welcome you to Data 220. Here's a little grading system explainer video for you. Before I get too far into the details of this grading system, I want to give you a little bit of a hint of why I'm doing all of this. It is different from what you're used to, but it's different for a reason. First of all, it helps you to focus on the right things. So instead of focusing on accruing points, whatever those are and whatever they mean, you are going to focus on demonstrating your understanding. It also helps you get used to meeting professional quality standards, which is much more like the real world. Remember, there's no such thing as partial credit when you have a real job. It also helps you to learn from your mistakes through a system of revisions and rewrites, which I'll talk a lot more about later. And therefore, your final grade is more meaningful. It really reflects your true understanding of the content of Data 220, rather than just like how many points you got over the course of the semester. Key to this whole grading system is a grading scale that I use. It's called the EMPX scale. These are just fancy letters for four important ideas. So the E stands for excellent. Basically, I give you this mark when your work is so beautiful and lovely that I could use it as an answer key. The next letter is M, which stands for meets expectations. This is like, it's clear that you know what you're doing. Maybe there are like some tiny mistakes, like maybe you added 2 plus 2 and got 5 or whatever. Mistakes that are not really important in the grand scheme of things, but it's clear overall that you understand the idea and you can communicate it to somebody else. The next mark is called P for progressing. This says that like you're getting there, you're on your way. There are still maybe some important mistakes that I want you to think some more about to really fine-tune your understanding of a concept, but you're making good progress. And then finally, X is like, I can't tell whether or not you know what you're doing. This is a mark that I reserve for like work that is substantially incomplete, mostly blank, this kind of thing. Just as a side note, Canvas doesn't really work super great with all of this, so I have to make each of these letters worth some weird number of internal Canvas points. These numbers don't really mean anything, just focus on what letter. Okay. The big picture overview of this is that both E and M count and P and X don't. P and X mean I'd like you to revise your work so that you can demonstrate your understanding. So now let's talk about revisions. I think this is really the key to the whole thing. I really encourage you to take advantage of this. A lot of students have told me like this is the thing that they really learn a lot from. So anything that's been graded as a P or an X can be revised and resubmitted. You have 1 week after the thing comes back to you on Canvas. Rewrites must include detailed reflection. I've got an example linked in the syllabus of like some really good reflections, but basically you should be talking about like what you got wrong, why you got it wrong, and what you learned that changed your mind. The reason I'm asking you to do this is because this is really how you learn from your mistakes. Past students tell me they've really appreciated the rewrite system. They say like thinking carefully and reflecting about your mistakes really helps you learn from them. I strongly encourage you to work on these revisions early. It's always a bummer to have to do them in a rushed way, like a day before they're due or whatever. Like spend the time, put in the effort, and you'll really get a lot out of this. Okay. So this is a complicated system, I will freely admit, so I've invented a little tool for you that I call the Grade Progress Tracker. It looks like this. Yay, it's so pretty. What this is it allows you to sort of check off boxes and keep track of where you are. You level up in the grade category when a big box is filled, and then you can compute your overall final grade using the weights. Let me give you an example of what I mean by like checking off and filling a big box. So let's take a look here at this pre-class and in-class quizzes box. So as you complete pre-class quizzes, you can kind of check off those boxes, hooray, like so. And then once you've completed an entire box, you can be like, yay, I have filled in that entire box. And then we sort of level up from the D category and start filling out boxes in the C category. Okay, so now let's talk about calculating final letter grades. Here's basically how this works. We're going to find that the number of grade points that we've earned in each category. So D is 1 grade point, C is 2 grade points, and so on. We're going to compute the weighted sum with the weights that are given in the left-hand column of the grade progress tracker. And then we're going to translate that back into a letter grade using the usual sort of grade point numbers. Let me give you an example of this because I think it will make it a lot more clear what it is that's going on. So let's say that our friend Maria had checked off 21 of the pre-class quizzes, 17 of the R module assignments, 7 written homeworks, and then let's say that she got a 75% on the first midterm, an 80% on the second midterm, and then a 90% on the final exam. What's more, let's say that she met 14 of the learning objectives and that she did an excellent job on the term project. So we're going to calculate her final letter grade. Here's how we're going to do it. The first thing we need to do is check off all the boxes that she has completed. I've done this already on a little copy of the grade progress tracker. You can see there's 21 of these boxes checked off in the pre-class and in-class quizzes category. And then there's 17 of these R module homework boxes, and so on and so forth throughout the rest of the thing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look for the highest full box in each category. So 21 pre-class assignments fills out the D and the C and the B boxes, but it doesn't quite fill out the A box. So let me show you what I mean. So here, the 21 fills out these 3 boxes, but there's one missing in the A box. So that means that Maria has earned a B, or 3 grade points in that category. Similarly, she has also earned a B, or 3 grade points in the R module homeworks category, but then the full 4 grade points in the written homeworks category, and so on and so forth. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to find the number of grade points that she has earned in each category. So in the pre-class quizzes category, the B box is filled, so she gets 3 grade points, and so on and so forth. So there's 3 grade points in this category. There's 3 in this category, 4 here, and then 2 and 3 and 4, and 3 and 4. Finally, we need to compute the weighted sum. So the pre-class quizzes are weighted at 5% of the grade. So we take our 3 grade points, multiply by 5%, we get 0.15. So on and so forth throughout the rest of the categories. And then we're going to add up all of those numbers. We'll get 3.35, and that works out to, for sure, a B+. So good job, Maria. You learned a lot of things in Data 220. Okay, one last important note that I want to make. In order to help you keep up with the whole rest of the class, I make it so that if any category is below a D, which is like you've done less than half of the work of the class by the end of the class, then you can't get a passing grade. The highest you can get is a D+. Again, this is just so that you're like keeping up with everything and contributing to all of the parts of the class. That ends this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to email me. There's my email address. Message me on Canvas or make a comment on the syllabus. I'm looking forward to learning some statistics with you, and I hope you have a good day.